Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes, facts,
Boots.
and other stuff.
In this week's issue, The Dark Knight returns.
Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm Zach, joined as always by Mike.
Hey,
There you go.
Mike.
I did it simple still, but not as, I guess, down as last week.
You know how everybody, and if we
Loves Raymond.
Well, it's kind of that, right? What I was going to say is all these people have these shows named after them, right? Have we already talked about this?
No, we haven't.
Okay. I just want to start a show called Mike, with like an exclamation point at the end of it.
Do you have spinoffs then, like Mike?
Well, that's the recap show.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mike?
Okay.
Yeah.
So just basically people saying your names in different ways. It's just different shows.
It's a 12-second show each time. Yeah.
And it's just people just saying
It's
your
just
name?
people saying my name 3 times. And that's really stretching it on 12 seconds.
Yeah. No.
My wife will tell you that. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
I was joking.
Hey.
Hey,
Where's the
watch out.
sound, the glass break,
To
like
be
the,
added later. Yeah.
I feel like David Letterman throwing a pencil,
Yep.
which will be apt for later on in this book when we get to it.
Oh, yeah?
What we have today is a
By the way,
departure. Go
I'm
ahead.
so sorry.
No, go ahead.
I have an X-Men comic that features David Letterman
Yes.
that Rusty gave me.
Really? Yes,
yes. We should go over that
Oh,
sometime.
for sure. I
Yeah.
actually have that
Oh, do you?
on a list somewhere
Yeah.
of something to get
There you
to.
go. See?
Yes.
It's around here. I wanted to frame it because we were doing that Letterman podcast for a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. But anyway, it was just so cool of him to get it, and I think it would be fun to cover.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
That I will. That is on my list.
And
It's on my radar.
You notice how much more attention I'm paying to comics now. I'm even sending you stuff like
That
in the
is
middle of
true.
the week.
I was
Yeah.
when you sent me the
When I run across Reddit stuff,
yes,
I'm just like,
which,
boom, there it is.
By the way, that whole thing was hilarious. And then I looked into comments because I wasn't familiar with that storyline at all.
Yeah.
I guess what we should.
It was Selena Kyle.
It was Selena Kyle and
Supergirl?
No, Lois Lane.
Lois Lane. And they were having a bachelorette party, like in the Batcave.
But so
or
it's,
something.
it's 2016, and I'm going to sound very nerdy here for a second. I think that's too early for. I mean, like, I don't remember how long Batman and Selena Kyle were like engaged in the comics.
Yeah.
Recently, they were set to be wed, and then it fell through. Like that was a recent thing within the past like 3-4 years. So I don't know if it's
Sure.
like tied into all that or whatever. But it's like some bachelorette party in like the Fortress of Solitude.
But it was just the two of them
Just the two
trying
of them.
on super suits.
Trying on super suits. Well, did you see did you keep reading through?
Well, then they had
yeah.
the stripper that looked like Clark Kent.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like at first I was like, is that Superman? And then I had to read through the comics to realize that no, it's like one of Superman's robots.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, then it is.
Wait a minute, Superman's robots?
It was like something.
It's like one of those that fell out of the closet with Superboy.
I get. Yeah.
Okay.
That robot.
Okay.
Remember
That's
from
what
back
it
then? That's
is.
what it is.
He's all grown up.
Yeah, he's all grown. Exactly. You wondered where he went.
That's right.
He's
Just
getting
waiting
work
for
at-
that bachelor
at
party.
bachelorette parties now.
Bachelorette party.
It's odd also how many people, I guess, that like it seems like Lois Lane's maybe also bragging about her husband in a sense if she's like, you know, he's the stripper.
Well, she also gripes about it in that thing I sent you where she talks about how she's going to enjoy herself because she just goes and she's a mom, then she's a reporter, then she's a wife,
Yeah,
then
she
she's
has
a
no
mom, then
time.
she's a reporter, then she's a
Yeah,
wife.
yeah,
She
yeah.
doesn't have any time. Yeah.
So it is depicted that she is going to do very inappropriate things with a Superman robot.
Yes.
So
yes.
hey, kids, it pays to be a Superman robot. I don't know why I said
Sure.
kids. That made that
Hey,
very
kids.
awkward.
Hey kids, have sex with robots. That's what you just said.
I can't get that back either. That's out there.
Well, but that's one of those things. I mean,
I feel like,
what are the chances?
I feel like no.
Number one.
I'm going to say right now, just in case something ever comes up
Sure.
and they try to dig up dirt.
Sure.
That is not my intent whatsoever.
Are you running for office sometime soon?
No, but
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen in 20 years, Mike.
That's true.
Things
a lot
live
of
on
people
for
been
infamy.
canceled over a lot less.
That's true.
Yeah.
So just
we'll be
getting ahead of
20
that.
years. It'll be all over by then.
Thanks. That's a great way to look at
This
it.
world's going to implode at that point.
So before
It's
I
gonna be the robots. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Before I stick my foot in my mouth anymore, we are going to kind of transition. Last week we talked about Lois Lane and getting frisky with a Superman robot. We covered Aunt May's
her sexy side.
her wild side in a way, and found out that she's actually Peter Parker's mom.
She undone her bun.
Yeah. Oh no, it was weird.
Wait, that's what we found out?
Yeah.
That she's Peter Parker's mom?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a lot of what that was at the end.
Okay.
You remember
I
that
thought
from
it was the
right?
other lady.
No. Hold on. Aunt May. Wait. We went through the whole.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm
Okay.
just saying, I honestly, I don't know. Until now, I really thought it was the other lady.
Fair enough. Well, she raised. It's
Now
a
it's
weird
Aunt May.
book.
Okay.
It's a weird book.
All right. Okay.
Well, no, I mean, like the other lady is his
Yeah.
mom, but Aunt May's really his mom.
I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I guess later on she does become his motherly figure once his mom, who's not
very much
who's not his mom.
His mom, who's a Nazi.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Nazis,
Wouldn't be a show unless we mentioned Nazis.
Which is a weird crossover. That is true. We will have references to Nazis in this book today, folks, but we are going from something that I would say wasn't so great last week.
No, it was ridiculous.
To something that I would say is widely considered top 5, top 3 graphic novels of all time.
Really?
One of the greatest Batman stories of all time.
Trouble 2.
And obviously not the main thing, but what people took a lot of inspiration from for the darker, grittier Batman that you know today. Just some history on Batman in a way.
Yeah.
So in the 50s and 60s, like there was a lot of, I guess with the Adam West Batman TV series, a lot of kind of like campiness fun.
Mm-hmm.
Batman wasn't necessarily always a serious character.
Sure.
During the 70s and, in the early 80s and stuff, people like Neil Adams, Danny O'Neill, they run together. They try to bring the character back, be a little less campy and stuff.
Sure.
But this is one of the seminal works that kind of brings forward that.
Isn't it weird that like Superman never took that turn? I mean, he was goofy, right? Because of his all-American everything all the time. But he was never like campy.
No.
Like Superman's never been funny.
No.
That dude has no sense of humor. For the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Sure. But not like on his own accord.
No. But
Batman's always been the Bugs Bunny to Superman's Daffy Duck.
yeah, unless you're a fan of Superman and then you feel like he's the Bugs Bunny.
Sure, I get that. Yeah.
But let's. I don't think these are necessarily super hot topics, or not hot topics, but hot takes. But Batman's cooler than Superman.
Yes.
But here lately, I have an appreciation for Superman I don't think I had in my youth.
Really?
Yes. That is, as much as I love Batman, and we will get into it in today's story, not everything has to be so dark and grim and gritty.
Yeah.
And not every hero has to be shades of gray and just want to like a wholesome doing good just to do good character has its place.
Sure it does.
And I can appreciate it in Superman.
Well, especially in an entire like superhero universe.
Exactly.
You definitely need that.
Exactly. Yeah. And as fun as Homelander is,
that's
the fact that Superman is the exact opposite of that, at least in the comics, is nice to see sometimes when.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
Sure.
So let's go ahead and dive into.
Unless he's killing Bizarro or something. Yeah.
That's true. And in the Zack Snyder's, it wasn't Zack. Yeah, was it? Who did?
Batman versus Superman?
He did Batman versus Superman. Who did the Man of Steel movie?
Oh, I don't know.
Remember, Superman just kills Zod right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Which, by the way, Zod coming back in the Flash movies.
Is he?
Did you see the trailer for Flash?
I saw the trailer. I tried not to watch too carefully, though, because I don't want it all pulled apart for me. Because James Gunn has said it's one of the best superhero movies he's ever seen. And so I don't know.
And here's the thing.
I don't know.
And Paul texted me the same thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that gives me a little reassurance, but I still think about it. I'm like, I watched that trailer.
But think about this. Think about this, though, okay? I think everything changed in the way that you look at superhero movies with Iron Man. Because I don't think either one of us would have ever picked out the fact that Iron Man was going to be the guy.
No.
You know? So I think that to me, it all changed when Iron Man became like the main guy. It just seems to me like if you wanted to take the Flash and make him the main guy, that's great. The problem is Ezra Miller.
Yeah, he's not going to be the main guy. Like, to me, I can't get excited for this movie because to me it seems like it's just going to lead to nowhere.
Is it because of him?
No.
Or is it just is it because of the Flash? Or
no, it's not even because of that. Like, so this is nothing again. Not like I'm pro Ezra Miller.
Yeah,
it's as an actor.
I want to talk to those guys, by the way, the ones that are pro Ezra Miller.
We're going to just take the person away from it and him as an actor specifically in this.
Yeah.
Nothing, I enjoyed him as the Flash and the other stuff he'd been in.
Yeah.
So that was not a takeaway from it at all. To me, it was, and it's not the Flash as a character. It is just the trailer. I watched the trailer and it didn't. It
really
know.
It didn't do anything
just
for
to
you?
me, it didn't.
Huh.
It was more of, I get like, yeah, cool, Michael Keaton's Batman, but it just seems like fan service just for it. Like,
well, and that very well could be.
I don't know. I'll watch it at some point, but
at some point, you say,
yeah,
really,
I'm turning into an old man. Like,
yeah?
I'm finally aging into my personality.
You don't.
No, I like going to the theater, but only to see good stuff. So,
how do you do that?
I'm very picky.
Yeah, you have to.
And sometimes it still doesn't work out. No,
like I didn't go see Wakanda in the theater.
I'm not. Which
I've seen. I think almost every. Well, maybe there's a couple I've missed, but Wakanda seemed like one of those big ones, But then I watched it at home and I was like, it's all right.
After Endgame.
Yeah. Really?
Done.
Huh. That's something.
I take that back. I went and I saw the Spider-Man movie in theaters, but that's because I love the Spider-Man character.
The Spider-Man movies are great.
I might go see the Guardians movie in theaters just because it's the third one. I've already seen the other two.
That's my absolute favorite. Guardians. Both of them.
But again, I'm turning into an old, angry curmudgeon. And the second one I thought was just not to bash if you like it.
Second
it was just
Guardians?
It was just.
Yeah, it's not as good as the first one. But it's also, you didn't know what you were getting in that first one.
That is true.
And so everybody had been introduced. You got the whole idea. You knew it was like tongue in cheek, a lot of it. And so, you kind of expect more. But it's the same way with any sequel.
Yeah.
You already know the characters.
No, you're right.
Jason wasn't near as scary in Friday the 13th Part 3.
Well, no, that's true. So what you're telling me is that the story's not going to be near as good as we think it's going to be already.
I think that the third one might be an all-out weird fest. And it's because I know that James Gunn went into it knowing he was only doing 3. I think that he probably pulled a bunch of characters out of his butt that we don't even know are going to show up. And so if he can surprise me like he did in Suicide Squad, then I am over the moon happy. Because I loved Suicide Squad. I thought it was great. A little long, but I thought it was good.
I'm going to say this with every intention and hope that it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I'm ruining this by putting it out there in the universe.
You think he's tanking?
No.
Okay.
All
right.
But, and this goes for everything.
Such a setup.
Not everybody can hit all the time.
That's true. That's absolutely 100% true.
So,
yes,
there are going to be some stinkers.
But Peacemaker.
I'm telling you, He hasn't had one in a while.
He hasn't had one. You're absolutely right.
But that doesn't mean it can't continue.
I'm gonna say it's not gonna be Guardians though, because that would just.
I don't think it's gonna be Guardians either.
Which one do you think it's gonna be? You think it's gonna be the first DC one?
He's working on Superman?
He is working on Superman. But you saw which Superman he's doing though, right? He's doing the what is it, the All-Star Superman?
Yeah. No. I don't think it's gonna be Superman.
Okay.
I think what might be the downfall.
The Flash.
No, he has nothing to do with the Flash.
Okay.
That's the thing. He just has to sell it right now.
Okay. Yeah.
They did reshoots. I don't know if he was involved in the reshoots.
He did
maybe
so many reshoots, and then they had to find Ezra Miller. He was under a rock.
I think, man, I'm gonna have to speed through the wrap up.
Okay, let's go.
No. I just have the.
Yeah. Give me
I think it's going to be him trying to spread himself too thin to do too much, and so something. He wanted to do what? The Authority?
Yeah.
The passion projects are going to take away from something that has his name on it.
Oh, you think
that's
so?
going to be. Well, that's how I would be. I think what would be his downfall? If you were like, hey, you got 3 things to work on, Batman, Superman, and Green Arrow. I'm telling you, I like Batman more. I'm putting most of my work there. Then when I'm not doing that, I'm working on Superman. Oh, yeah, I'll do whatever and do a Green Arrow.
Well, I'm okay with that. They can let Green Arrow die.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, it's going to be whatever that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it very well could be. He's got a partner, and I don't remember what the guy's name is.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's a whole team. You know,
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's not just.
I hope so.
Because smart people usually surround themselves with similarly smart people.
Oof.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
And nobody can hit 1,000.
I love James Gunn. That's the thing is I'm a huge James Gunn fan.
Yeah, that's true.
I just want to be realistic.
I just hate to see all these DZ people like tearing him apart. You know, like they're all over him about, oh, how could you get rid of Henry Cavill and how could you do this? And well, guess what? We need to start fresh.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Yeah.
You know, and Henry Cavill's,
Oh, he's a good Superman.
I'm not a big fan.
What?
I'm not a big fan.
Okay, we're going to go down another route with this. Let's go ahead and get today's. I don't even know if we've talked about it.
Reeve back, get him out of that chair.
We've talked about it. I don't even know, and I've hyped it up if I've talked about what the name of the book is, and we're 15 minutes into the podcast. Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, or just known as...
That Superman thing just really took you down, didn't it?
Which one?
The Henry Cavill thing.
Well, I just don't want to... I'm just trying to get into
it. Okay. All right.
I'm just trying to get us on
I just didn't
topic.
Want to offend you.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Is it Cavill? Cavill.
It's not Cavill.
Cavill?
Cavill.
Cavill. That's it. You're right. It is Cavill.
So,
did you watch The Witcher?
No.
I didn't either. I don't care anything about
other
that.
people who watched it liked some of it.
My wife liked it, but she likes all the fantasy stuff. So.
I'm not big on fantasy. Just like we've talked about before, Lord of the Rings, not necessarily my jam.
Lord of the Rings is not my thing. All right. Oh, Batman: The Dark Knight Returns.
So at time of print, just a lot of people obviously know this is just The Dark Knight Returns. But when it came out, that was not necessarily the name of the book. As we'll see, this is a 4-part story, and each part has a title. Just the part 1 of the story was just titled The Dark Knight Returns. And when they collected all 4 issues together to print as one book later in the year, they just called the whole thing The Dark Knight Returns. This is by Frank Miller. Frank Miller, I know we've talked about before. We've covered previous Frank Miller work.
Yeah. Batman
Year One, he did after this. This is going to be his first. So I'll give a little backstory to where we get here. But Mike, you looked like you had a question before.
I was going to say that I had a copy of this, but it was the one with the lightning strike on the front of it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah. And that is so this is, I'm pretty sure, I think I have the 10th anniversary reprint is what this is, or this may even be past this.
I love the cover. I love the big black head there. That's cool. But
this is later than that. I did have the 10th. This is 2002. So was it like the 15th?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of the collections. It's been printed so many different times.
Sure.
It is like the black silhouette cover of Batman on the cover, but I also had.
I think that was the original one, right? Of the graphic novel.
I think so. Or, yeah,
like when they put all 4 issues together, I think that was the original.
I think so. There's also one that I had that might have been a second printing that had like Batman with the city in front of them of all 4 of them. That was really cool too. But so.
But I love this cover. I think just the simplicity of it is really cool.
It is a very cool book. So, as I talked it up and hyped it up,
and by the way, I love Frank Miller, most of his stuff. Like Sin City, love it. I thought Sin City was really good. Second one sucks. First one, really good.
Okay,
the movies, not the comics. Yeah.
Okay.
I never read the comics.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's written stuff that has been turned into
300, right?
300.
Yeah.
He's done Dark Knight Returns. He also has done his comic work. It depends on who you talk to. Some people like it. Other people seem to think that it's just kind of gone downhill over time. We'll let you be the judge because I have a run of Frank Miller for us to go over here on our little Batman trio that I have in store. It's all the trilogy in the same world here. So the beauty of it is the story that we go will lead into the next one, will lead into the next. But a little backstory on how we got here. Frank Miller was kind of known in the industry at the time for his run on Daredevil and what he was doing with Daredevil with Klaus Janson, who also worked on this book with him.
I completely forgot about that whole Frank Miller Daredevil stuff.
Yes. I think it was Born Again. That was the Daredevil run.
That was about my wheelhouse there.
Yes.
That was about the right time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So he got kind of, he was known for that for a while, and DC kind of met with him to try to poach him away from Marvel, which it was common kind of for artists to go back and forth over time.
Did he have anything to do with Wolverine ever?
No, I think that was more, was it Jim Byrne? I don't remember.
Jim Lee?
Jim Lee did do X-Men. He did X-Men, the rebrand,
he did
X-Men one in the 90s.
Wetworks, right? It was Wetworks Jim Lee?
I don't know if he did. Jim Lee did.
Dark Horse, right?
Yeah, I think he did go and work. Well, he went and worked for Image. I get so confused where everybody went and worked.
So when I was managing a basically a video and music store at an outlet mall, and I kind of talked them into carrying comic books and T-shirts and stuff like that also. And so I did a lot of business with Diamond Comics, the distributor stuff. And so that was the time when Dark Horse and Image both like started.
Yes.
And so I just remember a lot of that stuff from that time.
I'm trying to remember if Jim Lee is what is Wetworks?
Wetworks? I believe it's Dark Horse.
I don't even know.
Wow. I knew about a comic that you didn't know about.
Wildcats, Wetworks, Jim Lee, Image. Hold on.
See? Oh, it is Image?
Well, no. It just says Jim Lee Wildcats, but then it just says on what's listed. I don't know.
Wetworks,
yeah. Oh, all right.
But so, yeah, you're right. It was Image, though.
All right. Yeah. So,
but was Jim Lee even involved? Maybe
not.
I don't think he was.
You know who?
Never mind.
Maybe Rob Liefeld was. No. Maybe. So because it was Well, what I saw was Wildcats. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Frank Miller has a meeting with DC. Essentially, they ask him what he wants, and he wants
to do with Jim Lee. Sorry. It's completely off.
Poor Jim Lee.
Jim
Lee did do X-Men though.
Great artist.
Great art. Long Halloween too. I'm pretty sure it's Jim Lee.
Yeah, very nice.
Watch me probably misattribute that to him too.
I used to watch.
I know he did X-Men.
I used to watch videos of him just drawing.
Really?
Just
Are you sure it was Jim Lee?
I think it was. I don't know. Maybe it was the guy who did Wetworks. I don't know. I thought it was Jim Lee.
I will say, there is a video on YouTube if you find it that was pretty entertaining to me, where it's Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld are essentially showing Stan Lee how they draw comics, and it's kind of it's funny to see.
Yeah.
They did it as like here's how kind of like I don't know, like pitch to kids to be comic book artists.
Yeah.
So back to Frank Miller. Frank Miller meets with DC. They ask him, "What do you want?" He wants kind of like, artist independence in a way. He wants to be able to he has these crazy ideas. He wants to kind of pitch out there. He wants
to pick his character.
Exactly. He wants to be able also to own the rights to all this stuff too that he does, all that. DC's like, you got it.
Wow,
do what
really?
So, well, in some of it, like the freedom and stuff that he wanted. So he comes out with Ronin is the first book that he does.
I remember Ronin.
Also similar kind of that, I think, was 6 issues too. It's more of a higher end, the square bound, not the staple in the back, but the more graphic novel style cover, thinner, but still, 64 page kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's what these ended up being with the Batman before the issues. And it kind of takes off away, and DC essentially asks him, you have the keys to the kingdom. Like, what do you want to do in a way?
Yeah, no kidding.
And they're like, I want to do a Batman story. And this is his Batman story. It's The Dark Knight Returns.
It is probably the best Batman story ever.
Again, Klaus Johnson and Lynn Varley also worked with him. Lynn Varley, his wife at the time, Frank Miller's wife.
Oh, okay.
She does I'm pretty sure that Frank did the story and penciling. Klaus did the... oh my goodness, of course, I'm blanking right now. Lynn did the art because it's that painting style that also, I'm trying to think of what else she did. Klaus was the inker. John Costanza was the letterer. Editors, Dick Giordano and Denny O'Neil.
Okay.
There you go. What?
Yeah.
I'm just throwing everything out there.
Great.
I'm giving credit where credit's due.
I love it. Danny O'Neil.
So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to summarize
O'Neil
this.
did stuff after this, right? Like he was a big name.
Yeah, no,
right?
Before, like when he and Neil Adams worked together to kind of bring like a lot of Batman, the cool Batman in like 70s and 80s. Yeah. It's the two of them.
Well, together. I know the name. That's all I know.
Tons of stuff. And then he was an editor for DC for a long time too. Came back and worked on some other stuff. I
think that's where
Danny O'Neil is an all-time great.
Is the editor stuff. Yeah, the editing.
So I would say if you like Batman and you've never read it, go ahead and read it. When it comes to here, there will be spoilers. I am going to give a generic. I'm not covering everything in the story.
Dude, this thing's 20 years old. It's got to be.
Exactly.
Right?
So, yeah.
Okay.
It's 1986 is when it came out.
Guess what? In the abyss, the water talks to him. I just spoiled it for you.
So, yeah. If you haven't heard it, I'm still not covering every point in here.
Yeah,
so
sure. Yeah.
If you go back and read it, there will be things that you will come across on your own that you'll be able to discover for yourself.
Gotcha.
We're painting this with just broad brushstrokes here.
Like page numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
New colors.
So what we have here in book 1, 1986, by the way, a banner year. This comes
was 86?
86.
Oh my God.
This comes out in 86. Watchmen comes out in 86. And the first collected volume of Mouse comes out in 86. This is...
Okay, I couldn't have had it in 86 then. There's no effing way. There's no way. Anyway, sorry. All of a sudden I get a flash of memories in my head.
That's fine.
Because you said 86.
Okay.
So like I was supposed to graduate high school in 87.
Yeah.
I did not.
Okay.
I moved on from high school due to issues. And so
I'm interested.
But anyway, I that's how there's certain markers in your life,
Yeah.
87 was one of those markers. And so I'm trying to think how long after that would I have been in Hillsboro running an outlet mall store selling comic books? Because that's the first time.
Here's the thing.
Okay, I tell you
brought
what.
up Jim Lee with X-Men. That's like early 90s.
Okay, I tell you what. It's when did Superman die?
Early 90s, like 92, 93.
Okay. So that's when I remember us having the comic book thing out and the bagged comics coming in, the black one and the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. Because I still got some of those, I think.
Really?
Yeah, because they were going to be worth, a lot. And they're worth nothing.
The speculation market of the 90s just totally tanked comics.
Yeah. Well, comics and sports cards.
Yep, it did both.
It killed them both.
Yep. Funny how both of them kind of made a little resurgence, especially during COVID, funny enough.
Yeah, after they flooded the market.
So let's go ahead and get into our Batman story for today, like 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It's mostly my fault.
So book 1, of course, titled The Dark Knight Returns. And what we're introduced to is an older Bruce Wayne. Yeah. This is a 55-year-old Bruce Wayne. There's
a lot of this that's in the Tim Burton.
Yes.
Batman.
It's the darker kind of older Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Took inspiration from this. Like, again, This is going to be no. I'm just
I
saying.
know. I just
This is going to be.
my thing was Zack
I know
Snyder.
you hate Zack Snyder.
I'm not a big fan. Yeah.
I like him. You hate him.
I understand.
But this is going to be the inspiration
Black and white thing was
for
uncalled for.
almost everything Batman from this point forward.
Yes.
Batman,
you're
as
right.
you know, comes from this in a lot of ways.
This is pretty much a reboot of Batman right here.
In a way, but in old, like you see old man Batman, so everybody got to be like, oh, we get to go back and write younger version of this guy is what you kind of get here.
Yeah.
So we meet a 55-year-old Bruce Wayne who barely escapes a car crash in some race that he's, rich man racing in.
Yeah.
We also find out that Commissioner Gordon is a month away from retirement.
Okay.
And Gotham is facing a new set of villains in a way. It's not super villains. It's these street gangs led by these people called mutants.
Thugs and
Or
toughs.
the street gang itself is called the mutants.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a street gang. They're very ruthless. They're very violent. Just a lot of stuff. Bruce Wayne's having a drink with Commissioner Gordon and sitting there talking about, like, I can't believe it's been 10 years. We find out that Batman has essentially been retired for 10 years.
Oh,
Gotham has not seen him in that long. Commissioner Gordon himself is about to retire. Commissioner Gordon's like, hey, you talk to Dick anymore? He's talking about Dick Grayson Robin. He's like, Jim, we don't talk anymore. And then he says, well, also sorry about Jason. And he's like, kind of cuts him off with Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, just a funny little tidbit to throw in here, that Jason Todd is killed eventually by the Joker, and later comes back as Red Hood. But it was a big storyline in the late 80s called Death in the Family, and they actually had the readers call in and decided what happened to Jason Todd because they left on a cliffhanger. And the readers voted for him to die.
I remember Death in the Family.
So they killed off Jason Todd in the comics because of the readers.
Yeah.
He was the second Robin.
It's amazing.
This story alludes to him dying and essentially at the hands of the Joker in some way, or just, something happening to him. But it predicts Jason Todd's death 3 years before that storyline happened, 2 years before that storyline happened.
Oh, wow.
Just kind of funny thing, tidbit there. But essentially we get here is that Bruce is just an old beaten down man. He's just kind of, it sets what Miller likes to do is kind of make it seem like that Batman is another kind of being inside of Bruce. Like there's Bruce Wayne and there's Batman.
Yeah.
We get to a point where he's walking around the city and the Mutant Street Game kind of attempts to murder him in a way.
I like how Commissioner Gordon looks like Sam Elliott in this.
Right. Oh yeah, he does look very Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Batman prepares himself for a fight. The mutants are kind of turned off because, as one of them says, man, I have a hard time killing people when they're into it. So he's like, we'll just go to the arcade instead. Kind of like, hey, I'm not going to murder guys. Let's go play some Pac-Man instead.
Sure. Joust.
Yeah. We find out that there is a giant heat wave that's going through Gotham that's causing the spike in the crime that's going on.
Yeah.
Which actually, I think scientifically there is a connection between that.
What was did we cover a comic, or am I just remembering this comic where there was this horrible heat wave and it turned people like against each other and stuff?
I don't remember.
You
We've
don't
covered
remember
a
that?
lot.
Yeah. I think we covered one.
We might have.
It was at the old location, and I swear to God, it was like a heat wave hit the city, and everybody was pissed off at each other and stuff. And I can't remember who the hero was.
There was the Captain Carrot one where Starro's rays shot the people and it made them act like animals.
No, that wasn't it. No, this was like a heat wave thing.
Oh, then I don't remember.
Yeah,
it probably was. What sounds public domainy stuff
or something.
No, Skate Man just had that one issue.
Skate Man.
I'll pick up the pace a little bit here.
Anyway, yeah, you're good. Sorry.
We see that there is the Arkham Home for the Emotionally Troubled.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
So we seem that all of Batman's former villains have kind of been rehabilitated.
Yeah. By the way, the one thing that appealed to me about this, not only the story's great, but I always loved the little TV cut-ins in the.
A lot of this is
cool.
Is very much in the 16 box art style. It's 4 across, 4 across, 4 across, 4 across for 16. It plays with it some where sometimes it's, one large image and it's 8 panels on top of it.
Sure.
The way it breaks it up. But that is the break of this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's
very well done.
It's very well done. And so
very
some
well
of the panels, they make it look like TV screens for the talking head portions. It's really paced out.
When you look at it now, it really does look like a movie.
It does.
I mean, it looks like somebody has storyboarded a movie.
Frank
basically.
Miller said, because I did a lot of research on this, he has a letter at the front of this and the back of this, and I watched a bit of a documentary. He talks about that he wrote this as a novel.
Oh, really?
First, and then kind of went out, like, it was written that way.
Yeah.
And so that's why it kind of paces and plays out that way.
Cool.
So, at the Arkham home for the emotionally troubled, all of Batman's villains have been rehabilitated.
Yeah, they've been rehabilitated, sure.
We see that Joker's just kind of in a catatonic state. He doesn't talk to anybody. They unwrap Harvey Dent's face because he's been cured now.
Yeah.
And plastic surgery provides to bring him back to just regular Harvey Dent. And they have a press conference to show, hey, regular Harvey Dent's back.
Yeah.
He shows him a coin. It's not scarred on each side. Everything's great. Commissioner Gordon at the same time is like, I don't know. I don't trust this guy. He was a criminal forever. He may be rehabilitated, but we can't just let him out free in the world.
Good thinking, Commish. Yeah, I wouldn't trust any of them either.
Bruce Wayne argues, because Bruce Wayne has been paying for all the rehabilitation of all these villains.
Oh, really?
And Bruce Wayne argues that Commissioner Gordon doesn't know what he's talking about, that he believes Harvey Dent can change and pay for his sins. I like this touch because I do feel that it's Bruce hoping that I can still fix, that I didn't cause all these villains.
Well, not only, I'm sure that that's part of it, but also I don't have to come back. I don't have to. Yeah.
So all of this goes through. We do get a scene through a flashback. You remember all the times that you see like Bruce Wayne chasing after a rabbit in like the flashbacks and he falls down into the bat cave and all the bats. First time we see it's here. Yeah. So that's pulled from Stuff 2 origin stories. Yeah. I think, who was it? Was it Schumacher? No, is it Burton's that it's like that?
No, Christopher Nolan, where he falls in the
is it Nolan's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's Michael Caine as
Stolen from here.
Yeah. No. This is huge influence. Huge.
We see that.
That's probably as close as you get to being an actual like Batman comic.
Yes.
Those Nolan movies.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. This previous Batman one was good.
No, this previous Batman was very good. I enjoyed the Pattinson one. But I could sit there and watch those 3 Nolan movies just back to back to back.
I haven't seen them in a while. Maybe I've seen.
I would not mind that at all. Now the third one's not quite as good as the rest of them.
Yeah.
But I love the way they introduce Robin. I love the way that Batman goes off and blows up, but he doesn't really. Oh, sorry, spoiled it for everybody. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, I love all those touches.
No.
I love the exploding football field. The whole thing. Yeah, I thought it was all cool.
I get it. It was very cool. I like Tom Hardy's Bane. I get it.
And it's done with a straight face.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
No, for sure.
Even the Joker is done with a straight face.
Yes.
Heath
Ledger's Joker's fantastic. And I think you can do the Joker with a straight face like you did.
It's damn Olsen twins.
It's not.
They killed the Joker.
No, they didn't.
Oh, they didn't?
Well, I
thought he died with the Olsen twins.
They weren't there, I don't think.
I thought they were.
No, and it's only one of them. It's not both of them. I don't know.
Wasn't it him and Joaquin Phoenix and they both
We're
dove
not getting
off a
into
building
this.
or something?
So back to Batman.
Sorry.
We find out that Harvey Dent has now gone missing after he's been released. Mm-hmm. He shows up to his old gang. He tells them that he's got a new job for him, essentially.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne, he sleepwalks one night. I'm trying to speed through this. And Alfred finds him down in the Batcave because he dreamed about the scene we talked about. Like he's having dreams of remembering all this. And he winds up in the Batcave where we see Jason Todd's Robin suit kind of framed up there as a reminder.
Right.
And he shaved his mustache. Don't know what it means, but he has shaved his mustache. Then
ready.
It shows him at home the next night. He's drinking wine, watching TV. And what's about to come on but Tyrone Powers and the Mask of Zorro. Oh, that's the movie that they watched the night his parents died. And he tells them, it's okay. It's just a movie. I should have checked it. It's not going to be fine.
Yeah, okay.
Then we see, and this is done really well with the 16 panels, is we get the kind of remembering of what happened to his parents.
Well, you get his remembering and his reaction almost at the same time.
And it's done through complete art with no speech bubbles whatsoever.
It's pretty amazing.
And it's really good for comics where it can show you, since it's, sequential art, of where it can pinpoint and tell a bigger story without showing you the full picture.
I love that.
Oh, his
Just
reaction,
the big close up to his face where he's like grimacing,
where he's remembering,
so
and it plays out the whole.
Honestly, this picture of him, and maybe we can put one on in the notes or something, but that could be Superman or Batman. Either one, true. And we find out, later, but whatever.
Yeah. So then it goes through, and it's just great storytelling here. Yeah. But what happens is kind of he then wakes up from this nightmare, and the TV, and the TV is just talking about all this crime that's happening. He's flipping feverishly channel through channel, and it's bad thing after bad thing after bad thing.
That's not terrible.
And he just goes outside, kind of in anger, just knocks over one of his statues. Just on about that time, he sees this bat outside, and a giant bat crashes through the window. And
that is me every morning before my coffee.
Yeah. And then the next panel, we see there's this older woman, but she's middle-aged, walking home with groceries in her hands, and it started to rain on her. And it looks like this mutant gang member is about to grab and hurt her. And all of a sudden, a hand comes out and pulls them through a window, kind of defeats them. Then we see pimp and one of his prostitutes get into the back of a taxi cab, and he's threatening her.
This is very reminiscent of what that cover looked like.
Yep, right there,
the lightning strike and all the rumble.
And he's threatening her in the back, and the taxi driver's like, "Hey man, I don't want any trouble," and he just shoves him a bunch of cash. He's like, "Just keep quiet and drive." Yeah. And he's like, "All right, just no blood anywhere. I just had it like kind of cleaned essentially." And he talks about how he's about to, cut up her face. And then all of a sudden you hear something on the roof, and he comes down and he pulls the pimp out, and he throws him kind of out. And then there's a knock kind of on the window, and the taxi driver rolls his window down, and Batman reaches in and grabs the money he was just given and rips it up in front of him. Right. Then we see two teenage girls walking through an arcade. One of them will become important later. Her name is Carrie Kelly.
And by the way, all of these are like there's exclamation points put on it by these lightning strikes.
There is a light. This is all the same night throughout Gotham, and there's a thunderstorm going on.
Yeah. Very, very, very powerful stuff here.
Carrie tells her friend, like, we can make it through the arcade. It's lit here. It's faster home. Then they lose power. And when they lose power, that's when the mutant gang members kind of come out and they try to attack her and her friend, when all of a sudden...
It's because the freaks come out at night. I don't know if you know
that's
that.
Very true.
Yeah, they do.
Batman starts to... If you haven't gotten by now, it's Batman who's appeared back to finally do something to help clean up Gotham. And...
there was no way he just sits there.
That's true.
There's no.
And in between all the lightning flashes, they're able to see just like these thugs get.
Well, it's silhouettes of the stuff that's going on. Yeah, it's very, very powerful stuff. Very good.
And then we're met with the next morning of reports of all these people seeing Batman. Yeah. And so it's kind of like,
he's back.
Exactly. Yeah. Some people, the reporters are getting excited. Commissioner Gordon has declined to comment on it, since he obviously hasn't heard from Bruce in 10 years. He doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Then it shows them chasing after some bank robbers.
The thing I'm sorry, I know that you're trying to speed through this, but the thing I love is the fact that it is the old blue and gray suit.
Yes.
And Frank Miller is the only, and maybe it happened after this, and maybe it happened other times, and I just don't know, but he is one of the only guys I know that can make that suit look cool.
See, you say that. That's my favorite Batman suit.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is from here on forward, we see a lot of Batman in black.
Yeah.
The
blue one's kind of gone.
Yeah. And so this is the true Batman suit, honestly. I mean, it is.
You say that. Remember, we covered Batman, and he was very black and gray.
I get it. I'm not talking about the floppy-eared Batman. I'm talking about like the Batman we all know and love. It should be the blue and gray suit. The problem is with the Adam West stuff.
Well,
To me, Adam West made it kind of uncool.
The animated series had the black with the blue and yellow mixed in, though, like that.
Don't count that.
Don't you talk about that? Is
shit.
the best. That is the best Batman ever. If you want to know what I think the best
Ooh, you got
Batman
serious.
movie, no.
Yeah.
You want to know what the best Batman movie of all time is, Mike?
Yeah, I think you've told
It's
me
Batman
this before.
Mask of the Phantasm,
Yeah.
and it is an animated movie, and it will tell Christopher Nolan how to make a good Batman movie.
Okay, great.
So,
Who was the animator on that?
Bruce Timm worked on it.
Wow, that's
so
a pull, dude.
Well, I mean, he worked on a lot of the show.
job.
I can't remember that, but there's somebody who worked on the series. Mark Hamill is Joker.
Yeah, I
Iconic.
knew about that.
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Love Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
The two people when I read Batman comics.
Those are the voices you hear in your
exactly.
head. Yeah.
So back here, essentially,
What's it called? Mask of the Phantasm?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I have it. We can watch it.
No,
together.
I'm just asking. I mean,
We can watch.
I'll watch it.
No.
I'll
We
watch it.
can watch it
Okay.
together.
We could, and we could like set up a thing, and
We
just
can do a watch
do a
along.
react. Yeah,
Exactly. It's like 80 minutes,
All right.
75 maybe.
All right, that's shorter than this podcast.
Yes. Yes, it is. You know, I was thinking, I had the thought, it's funny we say that. I had the thought today. I almost texted you and I was like, Mike, do you enjoy Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
Have you ever wanted to do something like
yes. Oh, you don't even know.
that? I've always wanted
You know,
to do something
I
like
own
that
puppets.
too.
You know that, right?
I
mean,
know.
I have puppets.
But I would love for us to.
Oh,
Can we watch terrible comic stuff and just riff on?
oh,
Well,
I'd love it.
we'd have to find.
Mask of the Phantasm. We'll start with that one.
Yeah.
A terrible Batman movie.
It's not. It's not.
I'm just kidding.
All right, so to speed this up a bit,
Yeah.
Batman finds out that Harvey Dent is up to something. When thwarting this potential bank robbery,
He kills everybody, and
finds
the story's over.
his coin. And all these reports of Batman reappearing,
Yeah.
we then see Joker back in Arkham home for the mentally unstable, or whatever he calls it in this.
Societally
And
unable.
a grin starts to appear on his face.
Yeah.
Because Batman's back.
Yeah. It is very well done in this that the two can't exist on their own.
Yes.
You know, they are the scales, basically.
There is one thing that I don't understand about Frank Miller's choice here,
Yeah.
and I'll get to it because rereading through this, there were some things that I didn't remember from the last time I went through.
Okay.
And I was just like,
That makes sense.
I don't remember picking up on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody else does, and maybe I just didn't. But
No, I think it's time of your life and you know, different factors and stuff that play into whenever you rewatch a movie, you reread a comic or whatever. Yeah.
that's a very good point. Well, no, I'm.
I know you're trying to go. Go.
All right. So, Batman is steadily cleaning up the streets. The mutant gang does not like this, and they threaten not only Commissioner Gordon's life, but they, they're still trying to run amok.
Sure.
Carrie Kelly, the girl who saw Batman out there, is
The one from the arcade.
the one from the arcade. Notices we cut from her to we see the bat symbol up in the sky again, and Commissioner Gordon kind of meets with him. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm just cleaning everything up.
It's that kick-ass like condensed Batman logo too.
It is. It's a small one.
Yeah.
We find out that Two-Face is deciding to hold the city hostage. He has two bombs. Batman's able to disable one of them. The other one blows earlier than expected and kills Two-Face in the process. We find out that essentially was because of the Joker's doing. Joker meets with his buddy Abner in jail, who'll come up later, who's kind of his sidekick. But Abner was asked to make these bombs for Two-Face. He purposely made them set off to blow up early.
Sure.
Anyway, Two-Face is dead now. Batman then, without Two-Face to worry about, goes to take on the mutant. There's a battle where he sees the two, and even though he sees healed, or I should bring that up, when it comes down to the battle between Harvey and Batman, or Two-Face and Batman, Harvey Dent does have his regular face, and he kind of tells him that, it's a whole new, I got a whole new smile and all that.
Yeah.
But when Batman sees him, he sees that the Two-Face persona has just taken over Harvey. So even though it looks like Harvey, he's still Two-Face on the inside completely, kind of thing. But
I was going to comment on how much this looks like Sin City. the top there. All
sorry.
the black and white stuff.
I thought
no,
you were
you're
talking
good.
about
You're
the
good. No,
panels
no,
there,
that's
but-
excellent. Yeah. Great
yeah,
point.
no.
He also looks like Lex Luthor, kind of.
Very much. And that's kind of with the explosion and the death of Harvey that actually ends book 1.
And that is a great place to take a quick commercial break. And we're back.
And welcome back. Let's go ahead and close out.
Let's
I don't know
close
why
it
I
out.
went NPR. Our Batman story here. We start with book 2. Like I said, these weren't all.
This is a great time to plant your perennials.
They were all supposed to be just different names of. So this was the Dark Knight Triumphant. What we get in the second book here essentially is, to make a long story short, I could honestly sum it up in like 3 sentences, but I'll do a little better than that.
Yeah.
Carrie saves up her money and buys a Robin costume, and she just kind of starts
Being Robin.
jumping across from building to building to kind of build up courage. Funny thing here, she is going to be our Robin in this story. I'll wait till this one when we get there. The mutants are still running amok through Gotham.
Yeah.
Batman,
Mutants are bad stuff.
Yeah, Batman
really are.
is slowly working on cleaning up the streets, so we get a lot of him working on taking out, all these villains and stuff. And the doctors from earlier are basically talking about how bad Batman can be, kind of because of what he's done to all the villains and other. Yeah.
He always looked like Borat.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Even though this is before Borat. So who did he look like before that?
Maybe
like Charlie
it's-
Chaplin?
Well,
kinda?
he looks like Hitler. Is what he looks like. Hitler with a big fro or something. Which is what Hitler has to wear in hell. He has to wear a big fro. I don't know if you know that. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
just,
I didn't know.
okay,
I didn't know what to
sure.
say to that. We're skipping through. I'm just kind of reminding myself all this as we go.
Sure.
There's a giant meeting of the mutants, and Batman shows up in his giant bat tank. Or it's the Batmobile. I love. Hold on. I want.
This is more like the Christopher Nolan
Yeah,
Batmobile.
it's a very
Big
armored thing,
armored
and he
vehicle.
shows up. I just want to read this line because he goes, "I listen for as long as I can stomach." Because the mutant says here, I should read to you when Batman's pulling up. This is what he's pulling up to. The head of the mutant gang is. They call us a gang. They call us a mob. They think we just noisy kids. Only when they die by our hands and see their women raped will they know we have the strength, we have the will, and now we have the guns.
It's
Gotham
crazy.
City belongs to the mutants.
It's crazy that Trump was elected after that. Yeah, I'm just saying.
And so Batman eventually has just heard enough, and he pulls up, and he just says, "Batman," and then Batman says, "The Batmobile. That's what you called it." Oh, sorry.
Uh-oh.
You ever have a moment where you misremember something?
Yeah.
I misread something.
That's my life.
Never mind. I thought that this was a line
thought
that
Jim
he
Lee
called the
did
guy.
Wet-Works.
I thought he called the guy Dick, and then I remember that this is the part where he's like talking to himself, remembering Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson, yeah.
So let's disregard that setup I had there.
Yes, sir.
But he pulls up with the Batmobile, and he just plows away all the mutants. Just
Yeah, he just
kind of
runs through 'em,
He's
yeah.
using rubber bullets, so it's a lot of really. They have bazookas and stuff, so it's more their weapons kind of doing damage to them off of the armor of the Batmobile.
Well, he hits them and they explode and all that stuff. Yeah.
The mutant leader kind of tells him to take him on head to head, one on one, and Batman obliges. And this is weird though. It's like super sneaky Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
He is very sneaky.
Of him
He's
climbing,
very big too.
He is
like,
climbing out.
and I don't mean like muscular. Like he's thick.
Yeah,
He's
this
two
is
C's thick. Batman.
Here's the thing. I think this is. No, I'm not ready to take the podcast down that route. I'm not going to make that comment.
Okay.
But you're right. He is a very thick Batman. He gets out and he gets into a fist fight with the mutant leader.
His milkshakes bring all the mutants.
All
to
the
yard.
boys to learn. I was going to say they might call him Daddy.
Ah, there it is.
Thick Batman is Daddy.
Sure.
So that is now out there forever.
Yeah.
I can't get
That's
that
two.
back. That's two today. Oh, my wife is going to be so proud of me.
Can't wait for the blooper reel.
But eventually, the tides are turned, and Batman starts losing the fight to the mutant leader.
Yeah.
And he looks up, and Carrie Kelly distracts the mutant leader long enough for Batman to kind of like put something in the mutant leader's eyes to distract him. And then she helps kind of steal a weapon away from him. And Batman is able to, there it is. Yeah, Batman's able to get the explosion in his face and help him escape. Alfred opens up the pod and tells the girl to just, load him up in there and then go on home. To which Bruce replies like, no, Robin stays. Like, Batman needs a partner, he feels like. Yeah. And she is going to be... in this dark, gritty world, she's going to be the color, like hope kind of in there.
Yeah, everything does get more colorful too whenever she shows up.
That's the reason she's in there. Yeah. A funny thing is, he didn't really even want, like he was on Frank Miller was on a flight with John Byrne, who also this year revamped Superman with Man of Steel, which I've never read, but I want to. Heard it's really good, but he told him like, hey, he's talking about needing color. He's like, you should have Robin. You should have Robin be a girl. Yeah. And Frank was like, and then he's like, the more he didn't get it. And he's like, the more and more I thought about it, the more I was like, oh, it kind of makes sense. So it was just another comment where like, hey, you should make it a girl. Yeah. All right. So he did. Yeah. The mutant leader is arrested, and essentially he says that Batman's a coward, for everything that he's done. And another side story that's going on, we see that in Joker's rehabilitation, that the doctors have kind of come up with a plan of letting him on a talk show to be able to show how much improvement he's made. That it'll be good for him. Right. Carrie stays and helps Bruce kind of rehabilitate and get better. Bruce works on training Carrie. What we see is a montage of different things of people being inspired, not necessarily in the best ways, by Batman, like 3 slain in Batman-inspired porn theater shootout. Details to follow. Then there's like this guy where he attempts to kill a mobster, and it says, crazed would-be killer dresses as Batman after this. So you see that Batman's inspiring a lot of like people to try to take things in their own hands, not necessarily the best way, but he's inspiring the city.
Well, he's basically set about all this vigilanteism.
Exactly. Right? He convinces Commissioner Gordon to let the mutant boss out of jail because he has a plan. And that plan is to lure the mutant boss to a place where, again, I'm speeding through this because to where they can all have a fight together out in the sewers. Like he leaves it open and he directs him like, hey, walk this way.
Why is it always the sewers?
Well, it's not the sewers necessarily. I'm sorry. It's a pipe that leads out to a muddy way.
It's the sewers.
But he fights him in mud because he knows he uses it to his advantage because he knows the guy's bigger and stronger, and he obviously using his Batman brain. But what he does is he beats the mutant leader in front of all the other mutants. Right. So now they are inspired by Batman. Instead of, he's our leader, they're now a group of them are the sons of the Batman, and they're going to clean up Gotham. And what they do, though, is they go
guys who were screwing up.
Exactly. They're going to clean up Gotham because of Batman. Yeah. And they use those same violent ways to clean up Gotham, which leads to other problems. Right. And it eventually gets the attention of the White House because of this. And mainly also somebody who now works for the White House, which is Clark Kent.
Yeah, we saw a flash of part of the S earlier.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's very much alluded to as you go along. Like there's these little flashes of Superman.
Yes.
And you're like, what the,
It's him talking to Ronald Reagan, who was essentially president at the time.
When you first read through this, you didn't have any idea that Superman was in this the first time you read through it.
No.
Because I know I didn't.
No.
And so to see that come to light is a huge, huge deal.
But he is painting, Frank Miller for this story is kind of painting Superman as, and I'll get into it a little bit more once we get to it, but Superman as the tool of the American government in the way. He is no longer a superhero for the people. He is used as a lapdog.
This is very much the truth, justice, and the American way Superman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Batman, and we will find out along with others, were against that.
And I can see him standing next to Ronald Reagan. That would have been, if any president would have had Superman standing there, it would have been him.
So Batman has defeated the mutant leader. We're now into book 3, which is called Hunt the Dark Knight. Right. Each title had a different something, the Dark Knight.
Sure.
This is where we meet Bruno, who in Frank Miller's world is one of the Joker's girlfriend. Well, we don't, because of no.
Yeah,
Bruno has swastikas, pasties on both of her breasts and also on both cheeks of her derriere.
Right.
In case you didn't, again, how do we know somebody's evil?
Yep.
Put a swastika on them.
Well, I mean, I can't tell you. I wouldn't use that vehicle if I were a comic book artist, you know? I mean, because you don't even have to explain it.
Yeah, but we already know that. So this woman and her little gang there is
who
evil.
Looks a lot like, what's her name from the one that was married to the Punisher. The one that was married to Dolph Lundgren for a while.
Brigitte Nielsen?
Yes. Looks a lot like Brigitte Nielsen.
Yeah.
Flat
I don't know
top.
if that's intentional.
Yeah.
We see this old woman in the store that they're holding up complaining about how much things cost. Well, lo and behold, it's actually Bruce Wayne in disguise, and he's been hunting them down to get clues because he knows, he and Robin have, because he knows that she works with the Joker. What happens while this is all going on and they're chasing her through everything and there's gunshots going on, there's a giant blue swoosh that comes through and kind of like takes her out. And we see Batman say, or we hear off panel, you see a speech bubble because she's now wrapped up in pipe and her gun's like on fire.
Right.
And that says, Bruce, we have to talk, off panel. And you see him lift the thing to show that he was this woman, because it's been this woman, old woman fighting Bruno the whole time.
Right.
That it's Bruce. And he says, I'm busy. You've cost me hours. Tomorrow morning, my place. Stay out of my way until then. And then a blue beam just shoots out of the store and goes away.
Yeah.
We get more reports of the Sons of the Batman. That's a very iconic
very
panel
much so.
and
Where
really
they're
cool
jumping
looking.
through the air.
Yeah, it's him and Carrie jumping through the air.
Yeah.
They get the name of some guy named Abner from following Bruno. Carrie kind of breaks into the house of his apartment to see what's there, and it's this ugly, hideous doll, and it explodes. I think it's because Carrie looks at it and says, you, and the doll says, you yourself, bitch. And then, she goes, it talks. And then Batman, you see it says no, and it explodes.
It blows
in there.
up, yeah.
So this guy is building essentially these explosive dolls, or creepy, weird. It makes sense, Joker. It goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
We then see, though, as the explosion happens, we get to a panel of the Joker not being able to sleep because tomorrow he's got, such a good day coming up because he gets to be on TV. And we get a panel there of Mr. David Letterman because he's dreaming about being on.
Oh, I forgot all about him being in this.
The Tonight Show.
Yeah.
It's not alluded. He's not called, but he's drawn like that.
But he's got the gap.
Frank Miller does make sure to draw Superman like you would think a young, strapping Boy Scout would look. He wants you to make sure where Superman's supposed to be on the spectrum.
Well, I love Superman on the spectrum. I love how Superman has like the.
I don't mean like.
No, I was just like
good.
okay.
What he said on
like I like how his pants are really high. And he's got like what looks like riding pants on. It looks like he's just.
Well, they're taking horses out on Wayne Estate.
Well, he looks like what he looks like is like what do you call the shit? Like if you think about Shrek, the guy the prince or whatever. That's what he looks like. He looks like a classic like Disney prince or something.
Prince Charming?
There you go. Maybe that's it.
I don't know.
I went all the way around there.
Basically, Clint, my goodness,
Superman.
Clark tells Bruce, like, you're not a young man. Times have changed.
Sure.
and it's not just your health. He's like, you'll burn yourself up. Like, your heart's not doing well. And he's like, don't tell me essentially what I can do and not do. Like, you are just kind of get ordered around by some talking head. Like you just kind of.
And you accused me of being a witch in the 1800s or whatever.
That's true.
1600s
That's
or
true.
whatever
You
it was.
lied.
Yeah, that's right.
And made people think. Superman hears, though, a speech going on, and he's kind of called to help deter something that could lead to World War III in a skirmish in Corto Maltese.
Corto Maltese.
With fictional Corto Maltese. Yeah. But he's got to go fight the Russians there to prevent World War III. Sure. Russians are used because Cold War.
Yes.
So basically, Superman's kind of warned him, hey, you're not as young as you think you are, and you need to kind of know your role. And Batman kind of tells him to F off. So we see that everybody's prepared for the Joker to kind of go on TV. Now that Harvey Dent happened. Oh, I should have said in this time, I completely missed in the last chapter. I don't think it happens, but it's not necessarily the biggest. Commissioner Gordon does retire, and Ellen Yandel takes over. Yep. So Commissioner Yandel is the new commissioner here. Mm-hmm. So she has her team waiting outside, expecting things to happen with the Joker. Also, Batman and Carrie are showing up there. The thing that I never understood is Frank Miller plays up the Joker as being very gay throughout all of this. Mm-hmm. And it's not that that's wrong at all. It's just very weird that it's a very old stereotype in a way of just like gay is evil in a sense. Right. And so that's just reading that. I was like, I never noticed kind of that before. And it was kind of weird. He calls Batman darling and sweetie and stuff like that a lot. He's just very kind of effeminate in nature. Take that how you will. I found it kind of strange, but Joker's there, and the makeup guy asks him, you ready for some lipstick? And he's like, no, I brought my own, and he puts it on. There's a reason I bring that up. It's important for later. Carrie and Batman, or Robin and Batman, show up, ready to see what happens. Everybody's, waiting with bated breath as he goes out on stage, and, they're kind of making jokes. Yeah, I think Dave says, you're said to have killed 600 people, Joker. Now, don't tell us that, don't take this the wrong way, but I think you've been holding out on us. And like, he's not saying anything. And the doctor's like, this is a sensitive human being here, Dave. I won't let you harass. And Joker turns to him and says, I didn't keep count, or I don't keep count. Mm-hmm. And then he goes, I'm going to kill everyone in this room. And Dave's just like, oh, no, that's rude. Just, joking. And then all of a sudden, he leans over through some panels and kisses the guest next to him. Yeah. And when he peels back, her face kind of reveals that Joker grin of just wide, and she's dead and ghostly white. And we see those weird doll things kind of zoom in through, and there's this gas that just fills the auditorium, and everybody is just filled with that Joker grin and just white, pale skin as he kind of flies out of there. There's also a part of this story we're not going to get into. I'm just going to cover it briefly, just because we do see Selena Kyle, who now runs an escort service, and Joker goes to see her. Yeah. Joker essentially uses one of her girls who's meeting with, I can't remember if it's a congressman or a senator or something like that. Yeah. He uses a girl for, have her use this, get this information, yada, something there. We do get pictures of Superman helping out the battle going on in the whole Corto Maltese thing, just showing that he's, busy at war too.
In this one too.
They both are.
Yeah.
So he's busy at war. Batman and Carrie cleaning up the streets, trying to figure out what Joker's up to. Mm-hmm. They find the senator that they were trying to find. He commits suicide. They go back. Batman figures out one of the girls was Selena, so he goes back, and Joker has hogtied her and dressed her up like Wonder Woman. Yeah. And obviously her mascara's running. She's been kind of smacked around and stuff. And Selena tells Bruce like he's worse than ever. Like he's completely gone this time. And they find cotton candy there on the scene and realize, oh, it's the county fair that's going on. We got to head that way. Right. The cops are obviously headed after them to try to
hunt down, because Commissioner Yindle does not play like Commissioner Gordon. Batman, she does not want any of this vigilante justice because he's inspiring the others to commit, terrible crimes too. We get more things of like Superman taking out.
I love the silhouettes of Superman with the red cape, though. That's
they
cool.
do look really good.
Very cool.
Him taking out submarines and ships, and him just battling everything.
Yeah.
We then cut to the Joker's henchmen giving out poison cotton candy to all the Cub Scouts here. And when Batman and Carrie arrive, it's too late. All of them are dead. All the kids who ate the cotton candy. Batman's trying to chase Joker through the fair here. They wind up going through the Tunnel of Love. Before we get there, Batman, in an attempt to stop him, throws batarangs at him, hits him in the shoulder with one, hits him in the eye with the other, and Joker's still shooting. They're fighting out through all of this.
Sure. They're
going back and forth, and Batman is singing to himself with all the terrible things he's seen around him. Like, why haven't I killed him all these times? Like, I'm just as responsible in a way for some of this as he is.
He's kind of right. I mean, he really is. I mean, that's why at the beginning he was trying to they really can change. All that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all foreshadowing.
Carrie and Abner, who is the Joker henchman, get into a fight on a roller coaster, and Abner is choking.
Not a great place to have a fight, by the way.
And Abner is choking Carrie, and it says they scramble down my face to my neck. This is her talking. I can't breathe. He's giggling. Can't. He smells like milk. Then I hear this noise.
Like milk.
I don't know, and his fingers slide off me, and then he flies.
Yeah.
He hit his head on one of the rails they go by, and it decapitates him. So she's able to be saved by that.
Yeah.
But that's, again, now her innocence being lost.
Sure.
All of that, having to deal with that.
Smelling the milk.
Yeah. Joker and Batman are now in the Tunnel of Love, which kind of, in a weird way, fitting.
Sure.
There's a part where they're fighting, and Batman has Joker and his hands on his head, and he's just sitting there, and he goes to snap his neck and only does enough to paralyze him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Joker's there frustrated in a way that he didn't go further. This is, to me, this is really, I know a lot of people have, problems with this, and they don't know if some people think that it was Joker or Batman killing Joker or Joker killing himself because the same speech bubble. I think it's Joker. I think it just makes the scene kind of more badass for Joker in a sense of just how an agent of chaos he is, if you like that kind of character. But the kids are gone because there were kids there in the Tunnel of Love, and he didn't kill him in front of him. He just paralyzed him. And he's like, I wish you kind of like I did. And Joker says, I'm really very disappointed with you, my sweet. The moment was perfect. You didn't have the nerve. Paralysis, really? Like he's sitting there talking to him. Yeah. And then he tells him, just an ounce or two more of pressure. He goes, do I hear sirens? Yes, coming closer. And he goes, but it doesn't matter if you do. They'll kill you for this. And he goes, and they'll never know that you didn't have the nerve. And he looks at Batman and he goes, I'll see you in hell. Yeah. And then with a devil's strength, he twists and he just laughs as he uses that red and just snaps his own neck and kills himself. Yeah. And when the cops show up, sure enough, it looks like Batman's killed Joker. Yeah. So now they add murder to Batman's list.
But I've never really understood that part. Like, the Joker was killing people.
That's true.
I mean, how else do you stop this guy? You've already had him in Arkham Home for the tough life people or whatever it's called. Yeah. I mean, this guy's going to have to be killed at some point. But anyway.
So
I understand where we get the story from.
Batman booby traps his body as they get closer to look so he can get away. And as he also helps Carrie escape too. And the two of them escape from the fair. And they go back to, they take Batman back and they get him kind of healed up. And we see that even the group of mutants have splintered off, and it's the Sons of the Batman versus like even other groups. I think they called themselves the Nixons, which is never explained why. But the thing is that the Sons of the Batman, like, they stopped the robbery that he was committing, but they cut off the fingers of the cashier because he was too weak to protect himself. Like things like that.
Yeah.
Like while they're doing it,
Not the best.
No.
Yeah.
We do hear word that the Russians have fired a nuke towards us, and Superman is sent to go take care of
literally
it.
all the shit has hit the fan.
Yes, and Superman
Literally.
is responsible for taking care of all of it.
Yes.
So Superman goes to take this nuke, and he puts it all, get it away from everybody, and it explodes, and it's a shockwave though. And what
Sure.
it does is I can't remember exactly what kind of special thing is about, but it wipes out all the power throughout too. Like it's a giant.
It's like an EMP.
Exactly. This just kills Superman. Not necessarily actually kills him, but
Makes him very weak, very.
It does make him very
ineffectual
weak,
for a
but-
long time. Yeah.
what's going on is with the power being out in Gotham, all the mutant gang that were in jail have gotten out, and the city streets are run amok.
Wow.
And the sons of the Batman are getting ready to go fight all these mutants when finally Batman shows up and he's like, no, we're not going to fight with guns. We're going to do this my way. I'm going to, in time, I'll teach you how to, but here's how we're going to do it.
Love how he shows up on a horse.
He does.
It's the best.
Well, because power, I guess because the
Yeah,
power.
yeah,
But
yeah. Yeah, no, I
So he
get it.
rides on a horseback and he's like, tonight we're the law. I am the law. And so they go through and they kind of help set Gotham, they get it back in order.
I'm
while
sorry,
they're,
but that's a kick-ass Batman. That's just
it is.
It's
It
just
is.
the
It's a
best
kick-ass Batman.
Because he's supposed to be like almost morally ambiguous,
Yeah.
I mean, he's always trying to do the right thing, but unintended consequences, all of that stuff. I mean, it's just such a good Batman.
So he and the mutants are working on taking over Gotham. What we see though is what effects
Yeah.
this nuclear bomb is having on Superman. He is so frail now.
It
and
literally
is drawn
almost killed him, for real.
Like he falls down almost zombie-like
Yeah.
as somehow he is able to harness the sun's energy out of a sunflower. Don't get that really. But able to kind of regain strength some still.
I think it's probably
enough to where he can
symbology rather than
he can fly away. What we do see though is as a cool panel of there's a lot of cool splash pages on here but as Batman riding through on horseback with the other mutants to kind of work on cleaning up Gotham. And when it's all said and done, like Gotham's kind of doing well. It's pretty safe. It's we see Bruce Wayne meeting with an old Oliver Queen. Speaking of Green Arrow, and Green Arrow's telling him like, "You've always had it wrong, Bruce. Giving them such a big target. Sure, you play it mysterious, but it's a loud kind of mysterious, especially lately."
He's right about that.
Yeah, he's like, you got to learn those sons of bitches work for you. Look, it's been 5 years since I blew out of prison, and I know I've been kept busy. And we find out that he's lost an arm now. Oliver Queen has in some sort of scuffle with Superman. But he essentially, I'm trying to
Superman
find.
sucks.
He does. He
No,
goes,
he
and they've
doesn't.
been covering for me, just like they covered up my escape. Sure, they'd love to frost me, long as they can do it without admitting I exist. But you, Bruce, man, they'll have to kill you.
Yeah.
That's what he's telling them. Like, you're making too big of a noise.
He's right about that.
Like, they're going to have to. And he goes, Oliver, what do you want? And Oliver tells him, I always knew it'd get down to you and the big blue schoolboy. Planet's too big for the two of you when it all comes down. I want a piece of him. A small piece will do for old time's sake, And he looks down and the army's missing and says, still hurts when it's cold. So whatever has happened in the past, Superman has taken one of Oliver Queen's arms. Oliver Queen wants a piece of Superman for it.
Yeah.
So we are seeing a couple panels later.
I mean, I think I would too if I'm him, I mean,
yeah, we're seeing a couple panels later. It's finally that time because written in laser, it now flames on the ground. It says where ? Superman is going to have to put a stop to Batman, essentially making the American government look like fools now because they've taken over Gotham. He's come back. He's, So Batman yells out crime alley because why not face Superman where his parents died, I guess, means a lot to him.
yeah.
So we go through, and while they're on the way there, Batman has Carrie and the Batmobile shoot like all these different missiles at him, because this is about a week after. And he kind of notices that Clark's still a little bit of a step behind. He still hasn't fully regained everything from dealing with that nuclear blast. Superman makes it to the Batmobile, opens it up, and essentially asks Carrie, like, hey, isn't it a school night? Like, get on out of here. This isn't between you and me.
Yeah.
Batman shows up in this power armor that he has made for himself.
It's like it's like he's a what are those things that fight the kaijus? Gundam?
Gundam.
It's almost
I
like
almost
he's in a
said
big
Gundam,
Gundam
yeah.
suit. Yeah, it's like he's in a big
It is.
Gundam
It's kind of
suit,
like the Iron Man Hulkbuster armor from the. It's what it looks like too.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's a power suit that he made because it's strong enough to fight.
Yeah.
Like to added power.
Yeah, yeah.
So as
Well,
he's using
he's
it,
55.
and
He's come out of
going against-
retirement. He's
and
not
he-
done anything in 10 years.
Yeah, and
He
he's going
needs all
against
this.
Superman.
Yeah.
And so Superman, though, while he's getting kind of knocked around a bit, eventually Superman catches up and he like pulls the helmet off and he starts taking, like he stops his punches. Well, some helicopters come in the town, like the police guards, because they're hunting down Oliver Queen. And we see Oliver kind of kick people, the guards off, and he falls askew and he lands down and he catches himself with his knee very nicely. And he is, because Superman basically has Batman down against the light post. And Batman, I'm trying to see where he says it. Oh, he goes, I've only got 1 minute left and I'm running out of time. And I'm running out of tricks. And he goes, I got to do it now or never. And so Ollie leans back with his one arm holding the bow, pulls it back with his teeth, and shoots it at Superman. Because, Batman yells out, Oliver, to do that. And Superman, of course, hears the arrow, turns and catches it. And when he looks at it, it's a weird green boof that blows from, and it's a kryptonite arrow. And so now Superman is weak, and Batman begins to just pummel Superman.
Just wails on him, yeah.
And it leads to me, my favorite quote from Batman ever, and I don't know why, or at least in this, because I always liked it. Even though it's very kind of childish in a way of who beat who, it's still badass. So they fight back and forth, and Batman's telling Clark, we could have changed the world. Now look at us. I'm a political liability, and you're a joke. I want you to remember, Clark, in all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
Yeah, well, that's like the eternal struggle, right?
And then we see like a EKG machine, the heartbeat. We remember Superman talking about his heart earlier, and all of a sudden Bruce collapses, and Superman looks at him, and sure enough, Bruce Wayne has died of a heart attack. We had seen, I'm sorry, I kind of glossed over it. Preparations have been made earlier. Alfred had planted a bomb in Wayne Manor and set the time. And so when Batman had planned, like he knew he was going out as I was going out. So the Wayne Manor and everything blows up too. And the shock of everything, Alfred has a stroke. Alfred dies.
Yeah.
So everything's just not, going well. And then we get a newscast that
It's just amazing how much of the little stuff they've taken out of these things for all the
Yes,
movies and
it's
stuff. It's just something else.
it goes, the cloud has almost completely cleared in the past 72 hours. The president has declared a state of stabilized emergency because when the nuke went off,
Yeah, sure.
And it says, repeating this week's top stories, the spectacular career of the Batman came to a tragic conclusion as the crime fighter suffered a heart attack while battling government troops. He has been identified as 55-year-old billionaire Bruce Wayne, and his death has proven as mysterious as his life. We then cut to Bruce's funeral, and it's Commissioner Gordon holding back Selina Kyle as Clark Kent stands by the grave to pay his respects, where Selina goes, son of a bitch, I knew who killed him. And Commissioner Gordon's trying to pull her away. We get more reports from the news feed of, Wayne Manor has leveled by a series of explosions set apparently by Wayne's butler, who is also found dead, a stroke at the scene. Flames destroyed whatever evidence may have existed as to Batman's methods. Also missing, missing, it seems, is the Wayne fortune. Clark is sitting there and he's kind of reminiscing. He goes, "Can't believe he had the nerve to come here." Like, people are saying that about him.
Yeah,
being there.
I don't blame him.
But like, Clark feels a connection there.
I get it, but
you know,
damn. It is kind of ballsy.
Internal Revenue agents investigated Wayne's records, finding his every bank account empty, every stock sold. Then we see everybody's left except one woman and Clark there. And it says, "Oh, where the money went is one more secret Wayne is taken to his grave. His body was claimed by his only living relative, a distant cousin." And we appear to see what seems to be that cousin as Clark walks away. And all of a sudden, we see a beep on the EKG machine. Yeah. And Clark turns back around and looks. And the woman who's sitting there kind of stares, looks, and it picks up again. And Clark walks closer, and he hears it again. And he turns to the woman and winks. Yeah. And he just walks away because he knows. Yeah. So then we basically see at the end, Bruce is now underground with Carrie Kelly as his Robin and other members of the Sons of the Batman, where they have decided that if he's going to fight this war, he's got to do it quiet. Sure. And he's got to do it, away from the prying eye. Yeah. And he'll do it where everybody thinks he's dead. So he'll just do it out of, kind of the way in there. And that is how The Dark Knight Return ends.
Okay, so I have to say one thing. I thought, and this is my mistake, The Dark Knight is the one where he poisons all the cosmetics. Which is the one where he poisons all the cosmetics and everybody smiles?
I don't remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Because I always thought it was in that one. That's so weird.
Now, next week, we will have The Dark Knight Strikes Again, which is part 2 of this story. I have never read past, but here's the thing. Everybody loves this book, right? And we talked about how great it is through the whole thing. It's a fantastic Batman comic or graphic novel. It truly is great and deserves all the praise it gets. But the second one is panned.
Really?
About how horrible it is.
They don't like the second one.
How bad the art is. Just all of it.
For real.
So I'm gonna surprise you with that next week. That's what we're getting into next week with The Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Oh, that's cool.
So we got more. We're gonna take a run through. We're gonna see how Frank Miller's worked through Batman, through his main Batman stories. So that's what we got coming up for us. I don't know. We'll have to look up and figure it out.
Because like in the Tim Burton one, that's what happens, right? He poisons all that stuff and everybody starts smiling and they look terrible and all that because they stop using cosmetics and hair stuff and all that, right? You remember that from the Michael Keaton one, right?
Yeah, I do remember that. I don't know if it's in
Isn't that in one of them?
Maybe not.
Huh. Maybe I'm just misremembering. I don't know. All right. Well, this was great, though. I mean, I love this book.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic.
But I'll also tell you another secret. I didn't know that was Green Arrow or whatever at the end of it.
Oh, yeah. Oliver Queen there.
I didn't know. Yeah.
So that is the only, we get we get a nice collection of DC characters.
Yeah.
This obviously kind of created The Watchmen, and again, the first volume of Mouse all came out in the same year in 86.
The art looks like Mouse on the front. It does. It's got kind of that simplistic drawing. I'm just talking about the Batman cowl.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the faces.
I'm not talking about the faces. I'm talking about the cowl.
So it's a big year there in 86. But this also led to kind of the revitalization in comic books of how comic books, because Frank Miller said a lot too in researching this, that a lot of times that he felt that
comic books had gotten very silly.
Yeah, and he thought that people thought they were just for kids. He's like, they didn't realize what stories they could tell.
Yeah, it's a reboot.
And so this opened it back up to an older audience kind of then too. So great book here. If you haven't read it, there's still a lot of the story that I kind of skimmed over and didn't even talk about. So you will read this and still pick up on more explanation for things and everything too. That was a huge
boon to comic book stores too.
Yes.
Like it almost like saved some comic book stores.
For sure. I think they ended up shipping out 1 million copies.
Yeah.
When they did.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
It was a big deal. Big for DC. So there you go.
Somebody ought to make a movie out of it.
They have.
That'd be neat.
You know what? They made an animated version of it.
Oh, no.
It's really good.
Come on.
Here's what I'll tell you. And I know you won't believe me.
Does he take a left turn at Albuquerque at some point?
No. No, he doesn't. Here's the thing. It's very close to it. They broke it up in part 1 and part 2.
Huh.
So that's the beauty of it too, because it is a very lengthy story. So they give it time to breathe.
Yeah.
Instead of making one 3-hour animated movie, they broke it up.
Because nobody can sit through a 3-hour animated movie.
That's not true. I think I could, but I sit through 3-hour non-animated movies.
Avatar.
No, not that one. But
do you watch Avatar? Have you watched Avatar?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either, ever.
In the animated version of this, though, the talk show hosts, they make it look like Conan, and Conan actually voices the talk show host for it.
I think I remember when that happened. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do.
So maybe we can add that after Mask of the Phantasm. I'm just going to make you watch all these animated comic movies.
I think that's great. Let's do it.
What I'm saying, though, is I also fully believe this. Animated DC movies, better than real-world DC movies.
Really?
For the most part, yeah.
Not the Nolan ones, though.
No. The ones that obviously people love, like
the Nolan ones, are
good.
Always going to hold a special place in my heart. It was the thing that got me back into superheroes.
But I know that some people just don't like watching animated stuff, but the story and stuff is actually really good in those.
I don't care. I'm just giving you shit to give you shit.
No,
I mean, you know
fine,
that, right?
I don't care.
I mean, it's not.
I'm gonna make you watch them still. So.
Well, there's some great animated stuff out there.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy Gonzalez. All right, that's the perfect place to end this week's episode, folks. As always, find us on Instagram, BroFoHero. Email us brosfoesandheroes@gmail.com. Also, make sure to check out RogueMediaNetwork.com.
RogueMediaNetwork.com.
And all the fantastic podcasts on the podcast network.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like
We got some new ones.
Oh, what do we
got? I'm telling you, this month.
Okay.
We've signed 5 new shows.
Wow.
5.
Can you tease any of them?
Nope.
Or? All right.
Won't do it.
Then, well, there you go. We
I'm
got
not
5
sure,
new ones.
but there's 5 new ones.
We got 5 new ones on the horizon.
Well, I think there's 5 that are good to go, but I think 3 have signed contracts. So
okay.
Yeah.
Potential news in the future on
but
that.
it's wonderful. It's a real influx of new blood, and some of them are already existing podcasts that are coming under the umbrella.
But so new,
which is cool.
New Rogue Media podcasts on the way.
New families.
So be able to look for
new
there.
members of the family.
As always, appreciate you guys taking
new families.
Not new families,
We didn't
just new
start
members
new
of the
families.
family.
I don't want another family.
As always, appreciate you guys taking the time out to listen.
Yes.
And until next week, stay safe, everybody.
Golly con.
Pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.